Paraplegic drummer here again. This time I wanted to explain my most prized um, piece of equipment on my electronic kit. I play kick drum with my mouth. I have ever since my injury in 1992. And the way I do it is I used to have all acoustic drums, and the only thing that was electronic was my kick. I used an old Alesis D4, and for anybody, amputees, quadriplegics, um, uh, muscular dystrophy, anybody who used to drum and for whatever reason have no use of their legs anymore, I've found this to be the best way to do it. I've seen drummers set up other bass pads all over the place, but you're still limited to two limbs. The one nice thing about your mouth is using that as a trigger, which is what this is, and I'll explain this in a minute, is, your limbs are left and right brained. And I would imagine that's probably part of the reason that when people learn to play drums, you tend to want to hit things at the same time with, trying to use all four limbs, whereas your mouth is in the center of your body, so I would imagine that it's not left or right brain oriented. But with that out of the way, all this is right here, I've made many. This is a bite guard. It's one of the ones that you put in boiling water and you form it to your teeth. And I have epoxied a piezo element, a drum trigger, and I needed my teeth weren't quite hitting it good, so I just epoxied a nylon washer that really won't hurt my teeth. And this works okay. Right now I'm using this as my backup. You can also make them out of, you've probably seen the friendly plastic pellets. Actually, excuse the shaky video while I navigate my chair. You can also use this stuff right here. Get you a piezo. I would recommend soldering a little thicker wire on it. I'll show you what I use in a second. My little goodie box down here. This is friendly plastic. You can get it at Walmart. These are just little pellets that when you put them in boiling water, it becomes like a gum. It's plastic. When it cools off, while it's warm, it's malleable. You can shape it. And then when you get your final shape, you let it cool, or you can dip it in cold water and it turns to hard plastic. And if you need to reshape it again, you just boil some water in a cup or on the stove and you dunk it in it for 10-20 seconds, and whammo, you can reshape it again. So in the past, this is how I've made triggers. So I'd make a ball out of this about the size of a golf ball, position the trigger, clear an area so that my teeth can hit it, and then I form this like a dental retainer to my upper palate, my upper teeth. And it takes, you'll probably spend some time getting it just right, but it's worth it. But I recently had some oral surgery done, and my oral surgeon is also a drummer. Get back over to the kit. Hey Mitzi. Hey Mila. So my surgeon did this free of charge. He took an impression of my mouth and made this beautiful acrylic. I guess it's kind of like a bite guard. But he also added a resin on the bottom to insert a piezo element. It's already cleared. It's got a bump stop here at the bottom, right there. And if the trigger goes bad, this is just a little bit of rubber. It's not really epoxy. It's like a gasket maker. You can use silicone, whatever. This is just to keep the trigger from coming out. And you know, the wires on these piezo's are pretty, I mean, there's only like 3 strands of copper in them. So I get these little connectors. The wire's about, I'd say 20 gauge maybe. So you get it, you know, it's going to last a lot longer. And I wanted a connector on the end so that this isn't permanently attached to a big, you know, 1/4-inch cable like this is. It allows me to store it and protect it. So what I've done is this end has a 1/4-inch jack on the other end. This pad is for double bass. So basically I do piddle paddles with my mouth. This is my primary kick, but I can get to some pretty high BPMs double kick going between this pad and the mouthpiece. It takes a little practice, but you can become a metal drummer once again. The way I did that, you can get just one of these splitter cables, tip and sleeve mono to, it's just a Y adapter, so it's mono on both ends. And then I've got one going to my mouthpiece and one going to this trigger. You can do that on the Roland units. So I'll plug this back into my auxiliary kick. And I know you guys want to hear this stuff. As soon as I can get some drum demos recorded, I've got some cover songs recorded, but I will do a demonstration at some point in the future. But I hope that might help somebody else out there who, for whatever reason, has had an injury or an illness, who has played drums, you know, most of their life, or who wants to learn to play drums. It's great therapy, especially for paraplegics. But at some point I'll make a video so you can hear how this sounds. But I do hope that this will help some other people. And if you haven't looked, I've uploaded a video on my digital drop clutch hi-hat controller for the VH11, which basically gets rid of the VH11 controller. This replaces it. And essentially what it does is it'll have buttons so I can set open, close, trashy, let the fader control how open and closed the hat is. But the most important part is this input is a trigger input going to this pad. This pad toggles the VH11 between closed and open. So essentially it's like a digital drop clutch. So that eliminates, that makes your hi-hat expressiveness much more easier to do without a foot pedal. So be sure to check that video out too.